my goodness, oh my goodness. So we've got just a couple weeks left in the year, and I was jamming with your team leaders and leadership and just asking, hey, what would be really impactful and useful? And one of the things that I really want to talk about is energy. What is energy? It's this floofy word for most people, right? Yeah. But what really is energy? Well, answer me this. What is smiling on the phone? Energy. There's energy. By the way, when you smile and you're positive, what vibes come through the phone? Positive. Yeah, positive vibes. I don't know, there's not very many of us in this room that probably should feel like we've mastered the dialogue with people. But there are some in this room that have. And I'm going to tell you right now that what I used to do on the phone has now translated to what I do on stage in front of large groups of people. And it also translates to anything that you watch of mine on social media. There's always double entente in the message that is being delivered. There's the words, and then there's the energy behind the words. And I'm going to tell you right now that the information age, which is gone and past, is knowing the answers to questions. We now have it all. The internet is solved for that. We're not missing any information. It's rare for new information to get brought out. But we're now in the entertainment age. And I want to define entertainment a little bit different than how you might think of a comedian, someone who's kind of fun to listen to. The entertainment age means that we want our information in a certain energy. What actually makes me an influencer? Like, why can't anyone just get up in front of the camera and talk and have everyone then, millions of people want to watch them? My information, I am not sharing anything new. I've not invented any information either. So what separates me from everyone else then is what? Energy. It's the energy at which I do something. And I want to talk about this for a little bit because it ties into a word that you do hear all the time, and that word is confidence. What's the word? Confidence. I want you to think for a moment what that word actually means. What does confidence actually mean?
Belief. Courage.
Belief what?
Believe in yourself. Being sure of yourself.
It's being sure of yourself, believing in yourself. I think it means believing in your message. It's believing in what you're saying. Like, for just a moment, I want you to ask yourself, when you get on the phone with someone and that you have that first 10 to 15 seconds to create an introduction, raise your hand honestly if you still get nervous talking to someone that you've never spoken to before. Raise your hand if you have that gut feeling. It's okay if you do, by the way. Put your hand up. Okay, if your hand's up, I'm telling you that you are lacking confidence because there's a party that's like, I don't know if they're going to remember what they did to be a lead. Like, do they remember getting the book or something? Like, are they going to remember or not? Are they going to feel like I'm bothering? Are they going to automatically view me like some telemarketer from India that is totally disconnected from them as a person? Are they going to judge me as just robotically reading a script? What else do you worry about, by the way, when you're making that first initial connection? What else? I didn't just cover all of it.
Am I going to sound professional?
Am I going to sound professional? Knowledgeable. Am I going to sound knowledgeable? If you're neurosing about these things, then when you first get on the phone, you're not likely going to have a better connection rate than the law of averages, and probably a little less so. Because for you, there's a lack of confidence. Now watch what happens. The person responds this way. Wait, who's this? What's this about? What does your confidence do when they respond that way? It goes down. But if they're like, oh my gosh, yeah. Dude, thank you for calling me. Dude, I'm so excited about this. What happens to your confidence? Now here's the problem. Your confidence is being dictated by who? Your environment, your circumstances, and by other people. If they're having a good time, you're having a good time. If they're having a bad time, you're having a bad time. And so the problem with this type of being is that we can break down every part of the script and you can label yourself either as in charge or a victim. A victim allows the person's reaction to dictate your confidence. I want you to write this down. If you're not taking notes right now, you're not serious about what you're learning. A victim in your role is someone who allows the feelings of the prospect to determine your confidence. A person that we says, wow, that person has confidence. That person knows that they're the leader. That person knows they go first, and they know that their job is to create the confidence in the prospect. And if they can't, there's going to be no sale, and they're going to walk away and they're going to feel great. And so as you go through the script, you have to ask yourself, when am I in power and when am I in victimhood? So in the introduction, it's like, ooh, I get a little bit nervous about that first connection. You are waiting for their response to determine whether you should or shouldn't be confident. Raise your hand if you understand the words coming out of my mouth and we get each other on this. Cool. After you do that, then you go through a little bit of a motivation part, which is, so why'd you do it? Be honest with yourself. I want you to write it down. We're going to map this whole thing out. Are you going to be confident if they give you an intelligent response as to why they got the book or the whatever? Or are you going to create the confidence? And so either you're just going to label each one of these sections, I'm confident, right? I'm empowered, or I'm in victimhood. No, by the way, no one wants to think of themselves as a victim, but victim just means that you're allowing other people to determine you. And that's a problem, and most people don't get it, right? Because they think that confidence is something that is created outside of them. Confidence is something that you create from within. So then you do the blast. This is where you're actually going to share what the opportunity is. You got a chance to qualify to work with so-and-so one-on-one this year with them, their team, their resources. Tell yourself, ask yourself, what percentage of the time are you creating confidence when you're pitching the opportunity versus hoping that if they can give you a reaction that is going to be good? Now you're starting to realize a pattern, I hope. Who goes first in every section of the script? You or them? We always go first. And if your confidence is determined based on the reaction, what's wrong with that? The chicken or the egg scenario, what's wrong with that? It means that you're tentatively sharing information and then hoping for a positive reaction so that you can then reward yourself with confidence. Does this seem backwards?
Yes.
So the question then is, how do you create confidence during every part of the conversation? Well, it is combining the information, the script, and then you're combining it with an energy. And so the question is, what energy are you creating during every one of those moments? When I am getting on the phone with someone, for me personally, I try to create an energy of curiosity and hopefulness. And what I mean by that is, I don't even know if I've got the right person on the phone, so it's a little bit of discovery. It's like, hey, is this Max? And it's just like a curiosity. That's the energy I'm intentionally putting into it, like a friend would. I do not want to be, hello, this is Kris Krohn calling from Kris Krohn's office, dialing up Max. Is this Max? Like, you come across like telemarketing and you're going to get hung up on. That's why the script doesn't read that way. Have you ever noticed that the script is ultra cash? Like you're trying to catch him off guard like a buddy. It's like, hey, is this Max? So all you're doing is I'm bringing an energy intentionally. It says, oh, I'm infusing confidence into an energy of just wondering, is this the guy that I'm trying to find? Immediately when he says it's yes, then with confidence, I'm going to introduce myself. And it's like, oh, I'm Kris Krohn. Kris Krohn asked me to give you a call to talk about the book that you ordered a couple of days ago. How are you doing? You can say that with confidence and in a really great energy. My energy after there's curiosity is I want to jump into that confidence of I know who I am. And so I'm energetically saying, I know who I am. Do you know who you are? Do you know why you did that? Do you remember doing that? Why'd you do that? Then when I go into the questions to figure out their motivation, I'm bringing coaching energy. And that coaching energy means I have to lead the conversation. If you are slow in your thinking process and you leave gaps, you're going to create awkward space for them to try to jump in and hijack the conversation. So you have to be on it. You've heard Nick Bernardino do this really, really well. It's like, why'd you get the book? Already, you better have 3 answers and responses prepared because I want to show them out the gate. I figured out you are the dude. I've confidently communicated who I am. And now I am jumping down your throat with curiosity and questions like, well, why'd you order it? What is it about your financial situation that made you want to do that? What do you do for a living right now? Why are you trying to build wealth with Krohn in real estate or business? Question, 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 question. If you are the driver, confidence, by the way, determines a certain speed. That speed is not pause. That speed is down your throat, down your throat, down your throat. I'm a step ahead. It's almost like a radio interview. No one wants downtime. So in the Q&A, what about this? What about this? I'm keeping them on their toes, and I'm like, you better answer my questions. And so I'm getting information right now, and I'm gauging. When are they going to get full from giving me information? Have they given me pain? Have they given me the dream? Have they told me really why? And I'm not going to give them the opportunity until I understand why they did it. And so if they're not giving it to me, then it means I'm not authentically connecting enough. So I'm going to push even stronger. I'm going to say, no, Max, I understand that, but I'm being for real. Kris Krohn asked me to call you to ask you this question. What was the actual real reason why you ordered the book? Well, you already gave me an answer, but if you ever restate the same question and treat them like they didn't give you a good enough answer because it wasn't real enough, then what I'm doing is I'm establishing myself as a real human being in their world, not someone that's going through a script. I actually always buck the script by letting them know I'm going off script. I'm never really going off script because I'm saying, no. Get real with me. That's not real. That's what you tell a stranger. That's what you tell maybe a coworker. Kris Krohn asked me to ask you this question. Why did you really do it? They're a little bit on the stand and they should be taking a little bit back like, I gotta keep coming up with information because this dude is pressing, but I did do the thing and I did watch the dude's social media a bunch, so I probably better, answer the question well. And after I know that there's something real, there's some real pain, once I know that I have a reason, because I need that reason, that's when I'm gonna say, well, let me tell you why I'm calling. The reason why Kris Krohn asked me to call you after you bought his book, Have It All, is because this week he's asked me to help him find a couple of people that he can personally work with this entire next year to completely revolutionize and change their entire financial life and never have it be the same again. Literally, he, his coaches, his research, everything the dude has built in the last 20 years. Remember the guy that's done $2 billion worth of real estate? That guy who changes lives left and right has asked me to help find a couple of people. So honestly, question for you, Max. If we had a conversation today that was about you having the opportunity to literally mentor directly with Kris Krohn, to financially do things you have never done before and create a total different financial destiny, is that something you'd be interested in? And just pause. Can you feel how real the words are? Raise your hand if you're feeling it. So that confidence comes from knowing the words, but an energy. What is the energy, the opportunity that you're feeling me emit right now very powerfully? What is it? There's excitement. What else is it? There's definitely passion. By the way, can you get rewarded for passion here? Like, are you telling me that passion is monetizable and some people make crazy good money from passion? Yes. There's some people who are like, dude, why are you so full of energy? I'm like, well, did you know there's a career for people that have really good energy that translates into money? This is that job. What else are you feeling energetically? Certainty. Like, by the way, how much certainty? So much certainty. This dude responds with a little bit of flack. Give me a little flack. Okay, so real quick, Max, it doesn't even sound like you have the ability to fog a mirror. I want to be really clear because maybe I wasn't. Kris Krohn trained me to interview you, to work with him, to access all of his resources, to become a multimillionaire in your life. I need more than a uh-huh. Be honest with me, dude, you can level with me. Is that something you want to be, is that something you're curious about, or would I be wasting my time talking to you?
No, I'm definitely listening.
How many of you can tell if I talk that way to him, that people, how many of you know telemarketers don't talk that way?
No.
How many of you know friends might get the nerve once in a while to talk that way, but probably not? How many of you know mom and dad don't talk that way? I am setting myself apart and saying, I'm an anomaly, I'm a savant in this space, I'm wicked good at what I do, I'm here to find the right people, and you better know that now or else I am wasting my life talking to you. By the way, do I talk that way to people? Yes. And here's why. Everyone's comfortable with the comfort zone of gray area where no confidence exists. Black or white, in or out, want it or don't want it. And the moment I get a little bit of like maybe energy, do you know why you struggle talking to humans on the phone that give you a lot of maybe energy? Because the moment they present it, You keep going on with the script like you're okay with it. I get the tiniest, I'll even look for 1% maybe energy. I'll call the carpenter and be like, bro, maybe I didn't make myself clear. That's not gonna fly. Like, this conversation is over if I feel any kind of maybe, because for me a maybe is a no. Be honest with me right now. Restate the question. Which is it, yes or no?
Yes.
If you can go through a conversation and force people to feel strongly one way or the other, taking the risk of people giving you a no, setting it up for them that it's like, dude, just say no and we'll get off the call. Just say no. I got other people to talk to. I told you I'm finding only a handful of people. By the way, how many of you know that you're gonna make all your money from a handful of sales this week? You're looking for a handful of people. And if you waste your time tolerating that mediocre energy, you will come across weak. And there will not be confidence because you weren't demanding of a strong yes or a strong no.
There's also a very unique sense of care that comes through that type of communication.
Oh, it's one of the most caring form of communication, and it does take courage because people are terrified to be that real. Like, that's too authentic. That's too real. It's like, that's the only version of me you're ever gonna see.
Yep.
So the moment you find yourself just reading a script and going through the motions, there's a good chance confidence is gonna be down because we don't care. I don't pay you for effort. I don't pay you for dials. I pay you for a result, which means that your job is to care enough about these individuals to say, be here or be there, but you best not be in the middle. And I promise you, every conversation in the first 5 minutes, I'm gonna hunt them down the moment I can classify them even barely in the middle. Give me a golden lead. Someone's like, I've been waiting for this, I'm so excited, I totally want that. I'm still going to say, I don't know. Prove it to me. Because I want them to be extremely here or extremely there in their decision-making process. So one of the things for you to ask yourself is, by the way, raise your hand if you want more confidence in what you do. If you want more confidence, then force people to make a decision and don't tolerate that gray stuff in the middle. And the way that you do that, the way that you compel, is by taking the words and combining it with an intentional energy. For example, when I'm asking for financial information, I try to be nonchalant because I don't want to be threatening. Because I want to figure out your credit cards, your interest rates, I want to know about your 401ks, your IRAs. The moment they can't remember and they're like, oh, this probably dude wants to know that it's $27,438 in the account, I'm like, yo, ballpark. I just need a ballpark because Kris Krohn has trained me how to do a game plan with you. And after I get this information, I'm going to be very specific on what I would do. If I were you, if Kris were you, would you like that information? I need that information to determine whether you're a fit for the team or not. And I'm going to nonchalantly ask, and I'm going to get everything. I'm going to get all the financial information so that I can build a game plan on maximum options. Does that make sense? Yeah. Once I know they got the money, I'm like, okay, there's no reason why this person shouldn't buy unless it's just not right for them. I can't make anyone buy, but I can control whose confidence. I can control my own. Once I know now that they've done money, I'm 10, 15 minutes into the call, and I've established I'm a coach. You're subordinate energetically to me. Why? Because I bring more energy than you. Because I'm forcing you to make a choice left or right. Because I'm giving you tantalizing opportunity and forcing you to say I'm all in or I'm all out. And I'll respect either. Now that I got 10, 15 minutes into the call, and it's like, this person should buy unless it's a no answer for them. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna slow it down. I'm gonna say, if I can only select a few people this week to work with Kris, I really want to understand why this is a must for you right now. So let's just say that you followed the program and you were successful. You know, made your first 10 grand, your first 100 grand, eventually your first million, and then millions. Like your first $1 million, you tell me what's gonna be different in your life. What have you been dreaming about that you haven't told people about? These are invasive questions, yes? Yes. Good, a coach asks the questions that no one else is willing, and when they say them, they mean them. And it's not the words, it's the meaning and the energy that determines whether someone says you do or don't have confidence. So I'm gonna grab that dream, and when they start telling me, well, I've always wanted this thing, I'm gonna get 10 times more details. I wanna understand it. Now you got some oracles, they're not really motivated by dreams, they're motivated by pain. So tell me, well, what kind of things would you do to make your life easier? What are things that you wanted? Oh, I've wanted to free my wife from work. Why? If you had done that a year ago, how would her life be different? So you obsess over asking really intelligent, thought-provoking questions, driving, looking for answers, maintaining control of the conversation, and figuring out what ultimately is going to motivate them. You get to the end of the call, you have two choices. You're either setting them on a big deal to your team leader, or you have a program that is right for them, to pitch. And then with that same energy, I want to thank you for giving me the information here. Max, that was really, really helpful. So in the way that Dolph DeRoos has trained me, in the way that Jim Dew has trained me, whatever the influencer is, I'm going to tell you right now exactly what Kris would do if he was in your shoes. And I want you to get pen and paper, because what I'm about to share, you act on this has the power to change your life. Whether it's for you or not, I don't know. Like that's your choice, not mine. But I'm going to tell you, if you work with Kris, this is what it's going to look like. You ready? Okay, number one, write this down. It's $4,997. What I'm about to explain, there is going to be an investment if you want Kris and his team to give you the resources you need. Does that make sense?
Yes.
By the way, I didn't even tell him what the program is. Why did I get the price out of the way with confidence right now? Why now?
To avoid the objection later.
To avoid the objection later, and I need to get them with knowing nothing to admit that if everything you give me makes sense, then yes, that would be worth it. And I'm going to get a yes before I move on and tell them what the program is. And if I get any pushback, I'm going to solve that right now, because I'm still holding all of the goods. It's the information that they don't have yet. Raise your hand if you get this. So sequentially, I got to say, no, Max, I sense some hesitancy. I want to be really clear. If I could show you how Kris Krohn steps into your life and works with you, gives you access to everything that you need to completely change your financial life, would you be willing to make a $5,000 investment into yourself? And if the answer is no, dude, we'll just end the phone call. I get it. Like, you want something for free, you want something for nothing. That's 99% of all people. Definitely not who Kris is looking for. Which is it? Again, I'm forcing him to make a decision. And I say, great, awesome. Now here's what you have to do. I'm going to have you write down 5 things. And either these 5 things are going to blow your mind, or you're going to say, wow, that's exactly what I need. If that's the case, and I feel like we've got a match here, I'm going to invite you aboard to work with Kris and his team so that you can do your part and Kris can do his part to start changing your life. Are you ready? I feel like we're going into the semifinals on some big deal here. I still don't even know what the thing is. Because they are buying, yes, because the program makes sense, they're buying because of the value proposition, but make no mistake, the most important thing that they are buying is how you represent you. Not even how you represent me. And the best way you can represent me is by bringing confidence through the entire conversation, which means intentionally select your energy. By the way, what I'm doing right now, how duplicatable is this? Is this like a Kris Krohn X Factor thing? No. Jason, real quick, go back to the beginning. How much of what I'm presenting right now was me 20 years ago?
None.
Thank you. Make it even worse. Make it even worse.
No. When Kris
Chubby, pencil-necked,
awkward,
dorky,
goofy,
awkward,
shy,
tell them more, Jason.
introverted.
Okay, shut up. So, what I'm saying is this is a learnable skill. And there are people here that have it. Your job is to master it. And when you master it, this is, by the way, translated to being the most successful investor. This is translated to being the most successful business owner. In fact, the master skill of everything I do financially in my life all comes down to one thing. Do you understand what you're doing on the phone well enough in principle, not even the words, that you can powerfully, intuitively now coach people? You can subjugate their ego to you. You can speak over them, not condescendingly, and lay out game plans and information and present that. I am closing billion-dollar deals. I've closed 5 deals this year that have billion and some of them multi-billion-dollar potential. And the reason why I got a yes on every one of those deals, like my net worth went up hundreds of millions of dollars this year. The majority of that income I made this year was in private equity. Like real estate's making me crazy money, but it's piddly compared to business, right? Private equity births billionaires. 100% of all billionaires do it in business, private equity. 90% of millionaires do it in real estate, right? Like what I'm doing in business makes real estate look like chump change. And the yeses that I've gotten this year that has added more to my net worth than anything else is the exact same skill that I'm talking to you about right now that I started developing under Jason's tutelage 20 years ago. So I want to be really clear. This is a master skill It will influence, by the way, your significant other relationships. It will impact parenting. It will impact everything that you do. And anyone who's financially struggling in life, do you know what the common denominator will always be? They never mastered sales. This is the game of influence. And to do it well, it's a game of energy. Not high pressure, not tying them down, not extracting a credit card. It is how well you communicate energy. Most people today sound like this. Hey, how you doing? Okay, cool. You have some stuff going on today? Oh, yeah, tell me about that. That's who you're talking to on the phone all day long. It is so easy for you to bring a greater level of consciousness and light and intentionality to the conversation. So that's why we're talking about confidence today, is because I'm asking you, are you aware of the energy that you're infusing into what you're doing? Because this is the skill. Like the deal that I just negotiated 2 months ago that will be roofed, that will be housed under this roof, that we're hiring a CTO for and some developers to finish up in the next 90 days before we go to market. It's a company called Thatch. This company will be a $100 billion company. And that is speaking very conservatively about it. That's the biggest deal I've closed to date. And it was a stair step of, can I close $1,000 on the phone? Can I close $5,000 on the phone? Can I close $25,000 on the phone? Can I close $100,000 on the phone? Can I close a real estate deal creatively? Can I close a business with needing little to no money? It's the same thing, guys. The strategy's a little different, but the presentation is always, does your energy, is it entertaining? By the way, how many of you are entertained by what you're learning? And I don't mean comedian entertainment, I mean, like, how many of you think this is good information? What the information is don't matter. How the information is everything. So just know that every time you're on the phone, you have an opportunity to practice a more confident version of you. You get to experiment with a greater source of energy than you've leveraged in the past. And no matter how big your financial goals are, there's no bigger financial game on the entire planet than private equity. So what started as sales calls and what I'm doing in private equity, I've started at the most entry-level, most important game where you learn mastery, and I've brought it to the highest financial game a person can play in life, and I've done everything in between. And I'm telling you, this skill is more than just about making 6 figures at this job. This is preparatory to a bigger game if you have goals that are bigger than this. And the people this week that earn that one-on-one game plan with me, I promise I will not disappoint. I'm gonna get so granular and so particular. And if you are in a significant other relationship, bring them into the convo. And I'm gonna map out the most detailed plan on exactly what you do in your life to get exactly where you wanna go. Just know that the required skill to play at the highest level or at this level is confidence. And confidence is code word for energy. And energy should never be in response reactively to your prospect. It is created internally first as you go piece by piece by piece through a systematic conversation that is designed to evoke a response of yes or no so you can move to the next part, and in the end, give them their final option, get the decision, put that on a credit card, move them forward with their life. You've done your job. But more importantly, when you do it better than average, you're stepping into a game of mastery. Learn this skill, and literally it can take you anywhere you want to go. Thank you.